Hey everybody, welcome to the podcast, bonus podcast. No song today. I know my song is like an earworm. That's what someone told me. No song today because I'm just taping it and I'm putting it up, and I'm putting up a lot of bonus episodes. I hope you're enjoying them. I kept some notes, but this one is a little bit of a fly by the seat of my pants one. So at the very least, we'll have fun. So the thing I wanted to start with today, I'm going to call this paranormal potpourri, but there's kind of a one thing I want you all to know in here, and I don't, again, at the risk of taking myself too seriously, I want to tell you a little bit about the dark web. We'll get to it. It's very conspiracy, very, if you listen to Soberish, if you listened to the episode with me and Jessa a couple of weeks ago when this corona stuff started, you'll know why I want to tell you about it. But I want to start, you guys... I want to say thank you to the podcast fans, because I have to say, I talk to you all in the Soberish page. I do readings to you guys. You guys, you're so great. You don't understand, when we were comics, when we were just comics before podcasting, we really, maybe you had some fans or something like that, but we really appreciate that you guys listen. Every comic I know is like, oh my God, the podcast people, they're different. You guys participate. You are kind. I just wanted to say thank you to everybody that listens. I wish I could gush more, but it's almost like sometimes somebody will say, oh, I can't believe I'm talking to you. And I feel like, I can't believe I'm talking to you. So thank you, everyone. It's just overwhelmingly wonderful. Wonderful having you listen and talking to you in readings and meeting you in places. And yes, I think some of you saw the Soberish podcast. I owe someone over there an apology, and I don't know who it was. And she was a friend on my Facebook page, and I was ranting about Trump, and I think she liked Trump, and I unfriended her. If that person actually still listens, please send me an email. I would like to apologize. I don't know why that bugged me, because it was like a month ago, but I was like, yeah, I got to apologize to that person. So wherever you are, honey, if I don't see you, apologies. I forget to do my own promo. Okay. So the first thing is, for comedy dates or whatever, go to my website, KarenRontowski.com or ParanormalKaren.com, and subscribe to my newsletter. I probably send out one every 3 months, and it's full of misspellings, but it's the only way to sort of keep track of everything that I'm doing. And if you are already subscribed, you know that my tarot class is now out. I've been reading tarot for 30 years. It's taken me about 5 years to get it together to do it. I taped it all. I'm very proud of it. It's on my website. I was going to release it in 4 weeks, 2 classes a week, but I thought with the corona stuff, I'll release the whole thing. You guys do it at whatever pace you want. So you can go purchase that. And because we all are locked in and nobody knows what's going on with money, use coupon code Paranormal Karen, all one word, all capitals, and get $50 off. It's pretty intense, but I promise you by the end, you will be ready to read. You will know all about the cards. And so it's 8 classes. Most of them are about an hour. But anyway, so buy yourself, learn a tarot course. Or you can join the free Facebook group, Card of the Day, where I put out a card a day with a mantra, try to keep people up. Or as some of you know, I do readings. You can go to my website and book a reading. Or my Instagram is @Rontowski. I like Instagram the best. Okay. So we all know how weird everything is, and dare I say, we're in it, okay? Everybody is feeling it. It's kind of weird. It's a little hard to stay focused. It's hard to stay focused, and it's hard to get things moving. Oh, I forgot this. Oh, and my comedy special on Dry Bar, it's free. It's on YouTube, and you can watch it. And I get a little residual check if a lot of people watch it. So help yourself. Okay, so back to the starting point. As you can tell, there's going to be no editing today. Empaths, I know a lot of you could really be losing your mind, feeling overwhelmed, and feeling a lot of things at once. Something about what's going on right now. There's someone else I may be getting on for a bonus episode, but this sort of rings a little true of, I don't know if, I think Jess and I were talking about it. I've seen 2 or 3 other people talking about how this coronavirus is changing our DNA. And if you are an empath, and you are feeling the panic, or as I'm calling it, a shell of fear that is on around the world, hang in there, protect yourself, do something. It's overwhelming enough when you're not an empath, but right now it's really big. And also, the veil between the worlds is getting thinner. And as you will hear when my brilliant friend Derek Condit from mysticalwares.net is on in a few weeks, he said we're getting dimensions added. So if you feel like you're doing or 3 things are happening at once, yet you're sitting home alone, I totally get it. My left ear just popped. Something is going on, or that information is correct. The other thing, like in my place, it's almost like I've been in my apartment, I don't know, maybe 5 years or so, and I know how everything creaks when I lie in bed and it's quiet and it's kind of freaky. I know every creak in this place. They're all different all of a sudden. All of a sudden it sounds like different things in different places. And the other day, I don't usually see things. I saw a very small, I think it was sort of the spirit of a cat, walk around the corner and go right into the bathroom as I'm laying in bed. And I rubbed my eyes 3 times and just saw it go around. I think I know what that is. I think that's a cat that was somebody's in this apartment, because I've had experiences where that cat rubbed up against me and I thought it was courage. And he never does that. And I was like, what are you doing? Nobody there. And really, like, not maybe something rubbed up against me. It was powerful, and everything, it was like every hair in my body went like it had that electric feeling. I also had that thing run through my apartment once while I was reading for someone and hit that person in the leg. And we both looked down and she was like, what just happened? So whatever that was, for the first time I could see it. So I really do believe the space between the worlds is getting thinner. Also, I'm getting a lot of hits when I read that are a little bit further out there that are pretty right on. It's like that door has been opened too. So empaths and people, the book is called Witch's Shield. Get it, get it, get it. Okay. So also I have some funny merch if you want it, which I have a little, I sell little plastic, they're little tubs, tiny little tubs. They say Paranormal Karen on them. And inside you can bring your own reusable straw. It's a rubber straw. I use mine all the time. I love it. I have that. And also, if you have not yet gotten a shungite sticker for your phone to cut the radiation, I have little Paranormal Karen stickers. They're $10. You email me your address. I will mail one off to you. They might be $15 next time I have them printed because I think I got a deal on them. But you put them in your phone. You don't even have to stick them. You can just put them in. But as you've heard, I am crazy that I really do feel like this is 5G. That's what's causing all this. And I never wore jewelry. I have shungite earrings. I have shungite bracelet. I have shungite necklace. I take them off at night. I turn off my Wi-Fi. I have them all around my bed. I really do think, get this stone, mysticalwares.net. I had a friend get some at Amazon. I really suggest you get it at Mystical Wares. I've been up there. I've been to that store. Derek has been to Russia. It's the best stuff. I hate to Amazon, but I've ordered stuff on Amazon that I don't know where it came from, but it was glass. It wasn't crystals, it was glass. So I got the funny merch. I got the class you can take. We got the free tarot. A lot of jokes coming across on Instagram. So today, it's tonight here now. Anybody else had the urge to plant things? Right? Like earth, plant, anything like that? I just signed up to take a course to be an herbist. I don't even know how to say it. I don't know what that is, and I signed up to do it. And then I thought it was all videos, but then it's reading. But folks, I'm going to do it. I'm going to become an herbist or an herbologist or something like that. So I can tell you all to take mint when you have a tummy ache or something. But there seems to be, everybody's ready to plant something. Do you feel yourself recycling more, or like just instinctively trying to take care of the planet? Stuff like that is going on. The other thing, and this is what I wanted to talk about, really, and this is why I'm doing this particular podcast. But then I have two great emails from people. One is about a great story, and the other one is about conspiracies. Two conspiracies that I want to talk about. So there is a great documentary. I'm sorry, my words are coming slower. There's another dimension being added. Hopefully, it's a dimension where I have a better vocabulary and I can spell. There is a wonderful documentary, if you want to watch a lot on this, about the dark web by Anonymous. I didn't know they did documentaries, but it's by Anonymous. And the best looking Jewish man I've ever seen in my life is the reporter that takes us on there. And I do think it's time. A lot of times my listeners are also Jessa's listeners. And so a lot of you know in Soberish, she's talking about if something happens or the internet goes down, meet everybody in Sedona. Okay? There's some kind of a rumor the grid is going down. I'm not feeling that, but I don't know. It could happen. I'm not feeling that now. It's supposed to go down this week, next week. Then it's a good thing I got this out in time. But I do want to talk to you about the dark web, because here in the United States, the dark web is talked about like the minute you log on, you're going to die. And here is some stuff that I gathered that you should know about the dark net other than that. So the surface net, the internet that we go on, that we know where there's Google and there's Yahoo and you go on and you log on, that is about 1% of what is actually going on with the internet. So beneath that level, there is a level they call the deep web, that's the part of the web that we can't get to on Google or anything like that. But that would be where your medical records are stored or bank records are stored, where people that have access to them could get them. And then at the very bottom, even more and bigger than that, is the dark web. Now, I'm not going to lie to you, and I have not been on the dark web yet. I am ready, but here is the thing. I don't want to look for trouble in it, so I'm not endorsing going on the dark web now. I think this is information we all might need for another time. I don't know. I'm a little worried about November. I'm a little worried about revolution, about the Civil War. That may be when I'm making my first trip to the dark web. So it is everything awful you can imagine, and those are the stories that they want you to hear. The government wants you to hear, the FBI wants you to hear, everybody wants you to hear about the terrible things that go on there, and they're correct. That is where kidnapping happens. That is where people can buy guns. That's where you can hire a hitman. All that fun stuff happens there. And everything is hidden from the law. All right? Everything is accessible on the dark web. There's a lot of clips of political people talking about this started on the dark web. The terrorists are communicating on the dark web. They definitely want to scare you from the dark web. I would also tell you, if you don't need to go on, don't go on. That is where you could get hacked or really run into the wrong people or something like that. I'm going to give you information so you know how to not get hacked or get involved with the wrong people. But the thing is, it's probably one of the few places you can truly stay anonymous and truly not be seen. And if you're smart and you don't go into the wrong places, you should be fine. When it comes to our privacy and security, I've talked about this many times. Google has created a voodoo doll of you. They know what you're going to order before you do. Amazon, Alexa is listening to everything you say. That is a fact. We know that is true now. We're being recorded. We're being listened to. There are cameras everywhere. We're on our way to being like Russia, Somebody the other day was saying how many cameras are in Russia. Everyone is watching us. Facial recognition is coming. I have it on my phone and I use it. But here's the thing about that, and I don't know if this really makes any difference, but when I got this iPhone, I have an 11, I did not want to do the facial recognition. I was like, this kind of creeps me out. And the guy made a point to say, well, Apple really is good about security. In fact, the way we know that is because there was that terrorist attack, and it was the one, I think it was a party or something, and the guy went in with the gun. It was up here in California, Northern California, and the FBI wanted to get into his cell phone, and Apple wouldn't let them, which is actually pretty good that Apple is protecting your privacy, that the FBI, nobody's going to get into your iPhone. So that's a pretty good thing to know. So have your passcode on. I got to put on my passcode. I hate the passcode. But he kind of talked me into that facial recognition. I do not like Clear at the airport at all. I don't like Clear. I'm okay with TSA PreCheck, but Clear, that's when your eye is in there. I have a feeling we're all getting marked by this anyways, but I just don't like that particular one. The more you can avoid, the better. I don't like QAnon. Some of you guys may like QAnon. The little I've seen of the Twitter posts and stuff like that, it's very interesting, but QAnon always reminds me, I'm open to hear, but there was some really crazy stuff that was going on that seemed to have started with QAnon, like the pizza place that was going to get shot up, or that the reason that Tom Hanks and his wife said they have corona is because they were arrested the day before that. They were arrested for child, pornography or child, abusing children, child trafficking. I don't believe that at all. Now, whoever QAnon is, did have up a very interesting post about vaccinations that I agree with. I don't have kids, so I'm not an anti-vaxxer or a vaxxer. I have no fight in that argument, thank God, because I don't know which way I'd pick. I know I do not get flu vaccinations, and if I can help it, I don't get any vaccinations at all. And he had a list of what was in, and I thought that was a pretty good post. But whenever I hear about QAnon, I always think, for those of you who don't know what it is, this is sort of a deep conspiracy Twitter page that has all these things that are you wouldn't know, or secret government stuff. Some of it's good. Some of the guy just looks like a pro-Trumpy, but not all. And I feel like I always remember that quote from the Bible, and somebody will know it better than I, but it's like the devil will tell you 10 truths to tell you one lie. That's what I feel like there. I don't know if that's a bunch of guys or what, but whenever I hear them quoted, I get very nervous. So here's what you need to know about the dark net. The first thing I'm going to tell you, I got way off on a tangent, didn't I? I was worried this bonus episode was going to be too short. I'm 20 minutes in, not even to where I should be. So the software. There was software that was actually created by the U.S. Navy, and it is called Tor, T-O-R, the Onion Router. Okay, this is what you want to download if you want to get on the dark net. I believe there's other ones, but this is the one, T-O-R, the Onion Router. And what that is, that's like when you see it in movies, when it bounces your phone call all over. We don't know where this guy's coming from. Bond is trying to chase him and his phone call is bouncing all over. That guy is using Tor, the Onion Router. It bounces your stuff all over the place, so nobody can tell who you are or where you're dialing from or typing from. So you have complete anonymity. This is why it gets so bad. This is why the FBI got a big drug bust there. It's really gross, and I'm not going to give you all the gross stuff. I think the most famous is the Cannibal Cafe. That's all you need to know. But this is where people are kidnapped, or, even just looking through if you just put in dark net, those are the pictures that are going to come up that are just going to be awful. But what a lot of people don't understand is it's also just a market. It's where people go to buy things that they don't want to be seen buying, or if they're interested in their privacy. There's a lot of talk about guns on there. One of the reasons for that is because the schematics for a 3D printer to print a gun, that's one of the things that people will get on there. Then they print what they call a ghost gun, which is a gun with no serial number. And it's even worse because sometimes you can buy those schematics there, and I believe they're sold by our military or by the people that made them. However someone gets them, you can buy those schematics, and basically you have people making a better product, a bigger AK-47, a more something that can kill more people at once. So that is, what goes on there. On the other hand, prescriptions are very affordable. Sometimes people go there to buy their prescriptions. They can get chemical recipes to make cancer drugs. They can buy them cheaper. There's a grocery stores of all kinds. This is why when you're there, you have to use the Bitcoin, you have to use cryptocurrency. But if you think about it, this is capitalism. It's everybody selling anything they want for however much they want, all over the place. So the dark net actually is capitalism. Now here's the thing, and here's why they don't want you to know about it here in the United States, is because this is where people plan revolutions. This is where they plan takeovers, civil wars, terrorist attacks. It's all planned here where no one knows who you are. The FBI hires hackers to go in there all the time. So really, the dark net, if you're doing it correctly, the question is, how much do you want Big Brother in your business? Oppressive governments where people are not allowed to be gay, where that's still frowned upon or against the law, that's where people meet. All kinds of things go on there. Kids that, whoops, I lost my place. Everything is on there. So countries or people that, sorry everyone. I looked at my dog for a minute and then I forget everything because he's very cute. And he looks sad for a minute, but he's okay. Courage is doing great, by the way. So it is revolutionized in other countries. It is not called the dark net. It is called the free web. And the other reason people want to go on there, I don't know if any of you watch Rachel Maddow, but she always talks about this place, and it's called the Wayback Machine. And that is where they save everything from the internet. So if you posted something and you deleted it, it's still there. It's still in the Wayback Machine. Also, Google keeps all of your emails. If you're with Gmail, Google not only keeps everything, but they keep the drafts. So they have every draft, the Gmail you didn't send, the email you didn't send, everything. I used to put, except we're using Zoom so much now, a little piece of tape over my camera because anyone can turn on that camera and get into your computer. So they even go into showing how easy it is if somebody's driving down the street. All our Wi-Fi is completely easily hacked. In fact, someday I'm going to go over, a couple of my friends know more about their certain networks or places or privacy emails. I can't remember the name of them right now, but I'll find them. But so for everybody else, it's not the dark net. For gay people in countries where that's against the law, it's the safe net. So that is what I wanted you all to know about the dark net. And I may just talk to Jessa or tell her this. Hopefully I'm going to be on soon because we were going to talk about my tarot class. But this is sort of important for you guys to know, especially if you're a soberish listener and you guys really are going to meet at some time, or if you're like me and you're more worried about protests and civil wars and stuff like that, you may want to know. I mean, I don't know that the grid is going down now, but it doesn't surprise me that it would go down this year or something like that would happen. We are in no man's land. We are in places now, and you can expect a lot this year that we've never seen before. Now, don't let that freak you out, because I don't know if any of you guys have noticed, but everyone is being so nice Everyone is being so helpful and they're staying each other's space away. It's really done good things. But the dark net, also, you talk about WikiLeaks and stuff, all this stuff, this is why Edward Snowden was in so much trouble, who I love Edward Snowden. The Patriot Act, which is what the government tries to push on us, we need to take care of you. We need to keep you safe from terrorists. So we're going to put in the Patriot Act, which means we can look through your internet stuff whenever we want. Whatever else is in the Patriot Act, I don't even know. But I know that it was definitely taking away almost a chunk of our civil rights and our privacy. And that was why Edward Snowden released all those papers. That gets into a big question, is he a hero or is he a traitor? I think he's a hero. I think the government overstepped so much. He may have released too much, but I think it was important that he let us all know how much we're actually being watched. I love Edward Snowden. I think he has a YouTube channel now. I felt like that was in my predictions shows. I thought we were going to see a lot more of him. So that is capitalism or libertarianism right there on the dark net. So if some of you guys are interested in the Soberish group, maybe you want a little more security, then we'll all meet in Sedona or we'll all find a place. That was some information I wanted to get out for you. And like I said, everybody else like me, we just might want to know that. The Onion Router. That's all we need to know. And at that time, we'll see what happens. Okay, everybody. So now I have 2 awesome emails, and I'm going to start with the story from my friend Matthew. Okay, but I'm not going to say his last name, even though he spelled it out perfectly for me. So here we go. Changing lanes from the dark net and all that creepy stuff to my friend Matthew. Hi, Karen. My name is Matthew. It's one of those surnames. Oh, and then he told me his last name. And he said it's one of those surnames people always get wrong, so I hope that helps. Although you've been calling the people Betty or Dave, so I guess I'm Dave. But don't tell my wife that. Her ex-husband is named Dave. See? Don't you already love Matthew? Anyways, so I heard you like people's ghost stories, and like myself, I do too. Let me give, I just hacked that line completely wrong. Give me a second chance. Anyway, so I heard you like people's ghost stories, and like myself, wait, one more time. I heard you like people's ghost stories, and like myself, I do too. Oh, no, that's right. Okay. This podcast is going to be 5 hours long because I'm just trying to read something. Let me give you a backstory. Short, I swear. I was born and raised in Dublin, Ireland, and have now moved to Camarillo, California to live with my wonderful wife, which, by the way, everybody, my friend Wayne Poe did the greatest. He did a documentary. It's free. It's on Amazon. And it was called, look up Wayne Poe, P-O-E. And there was one called Night Stalkers. And then there was another one, and I can't remember it right now. But it's about Camarillo Hotel Camarillo, I think. And it was great. And it was about how creepy the hospital is there. I'm going to put a link to his documentary in the notes. We covered it way long time ago when I was using a weird service that didn't tape correct. So there you go, Matthew/Dave. You're already in a freaking amazing place, a haunted place. Okay, I've had an interest in the paranormal for many years, which led me to many very interesting scenarios in my life. Unlike many of your listeners, fantastic stories about things that go bump in the night, my paranormal woke experience was a bit more of a mind-melting experience. Oddly enough, my dreams woke me. And he put woke in big words, like we're using woke in a different way. But I was a teenager. Before I was a teenager, I had a dream about being in a graveyard at night with my friend Luke, and I don't remember why we were there, but as you know, in the dreamscape, you don't get to choose your scenario. We were walking along the back area of the graveyard. Yes, picture that old-timey graveyard with the tombstones that stick out of the ground, unlike your pretty flat graveyards here in California. In my dream, I remember hearing chains and dogs barking and claws scraping as though the dogs were running towards us. We ran to an old stone bathroom which had no doors, and needless to say, it didn't end in a nice way. Well, that could be any bathroom on the 5 freeway in California. That's just a joke. Okay, when I woke up, I thought how strange the dream was, but like any other dream, they vanish with time. But it wasn't until a few years later, when my friend's mom passed away and we would go to the graveyard at night. I guess he was having a hard time dealing with it. One night, as we were walking through the graveyard, I remember hearing chains. I turned to Luke and asked him if he heard anything, and he said he did, but I'm not sure. It's nothing. Not long after I heard the chains again, as soon as I heard a dog bark, it was like the memory of the dream came flooding into my mind, and I yelled, "Run!" We ran towards the bathrooms, but I changed directions and headed towards the wall. One side of the wall was about 5 feet high, and the other was about 10 feet. We made it over the wall, and Luke cut his hand on some glass that back was okay to put. Back then it was okay to put tops of the walls to keep people away. They put glass on top to keep people away. Wow, this is great. As a teenager, then I didn't really want to tell him about seeing that take place in a dream. People would call me crazy. But years later, when we were having a few beers, the subject came up. I asked him, did he remember that night? And he said it was so weird that I yelled, "Run," because he didn't see any dogs at the moment and thought I was joking until he turned around before jumping over the wall to see 2 big black dogs running at us. I always wonder why I have seen dreams like this in my life, and I do have others, but none as intense as this one. This is the reason why I became a paranormal investigator. I visited many old castles of Ireland. Oh my God, that is like a dream, the old castles of Ireland, and some homes of people who needed some help. I've seen some things I can't quite explain, and funny enough, 99% of my sightings happened when I wasn't investigating. I totally understand that, Matthew Dave. I think some of my best experiences weren't, like I get good EVPs when I investigate, but yes, it's usually random. And I think if you listen to the synchronicity episode, it talks about how once you're sort of investigating the paranormal, it starts to investigate you. So you sort of attract more activity. But I totally agree with that. Most of it, not when you're investigating. I know this is starting to become a bit of an essay, so I'll keep the last part short. I was doing some paranormal research and I stepped outside to have a cigarette. I had headphones on and just wanted to relax for 5 minutes before going back in. The house itself was old. I think it was a small school or church that got refurbished into a home, and outside there are dirt roads and farms nearby. From the corner of my eye, I saw something catch my attention. From what I can only describe as a small ball of static moving either just a few inches off the ground or on the ground. It flowed with ease, like I wasn't even there from my right to left. There were no signs of legs, arms, or a head, no eyes, just a ball of static with a small trail behind it. It left nothing residual behind. It floated along the road, moved as fast as a running cat would. This is the story I just told before. Oh my God. And I know the difference between a ball of static and a cat. I passed the small brick wall, cutting off my view to the rest of the road. I wanted to step out and see if it was still moving up the road, but I instead ran into the house to tell the guys what the hell I just saw. The man who I was staying with, who used to own the house, is a well-known paranormal investigator, but we haven't spoken in a while, and I'm not one to throw names around without anyone's permission. Totally get it. He said he had come in contact with these things near his home before. It wasn't until I heard the episode with Sonia King when she described what your little doggy had seen through the car window, and then later another episode with Christopher Balzano when he was talking about the puckwudgie. Oh, I wonder if I have a puckwudgie in here. Something he said made me wonder, are all these sightings the same? Karen, I hope you have enjoyed my experiences. I have, Matthew David. I listen every day, and slowly halfway through your podcast, I listen on Spotify, and I can't rate you with 5 stars, but I wish I could. Maybe I can do it on Google Play. I will check. I know you're a busy lady. I won't keep you any longer. I met my wife talking to people in the paranormal field, but we've been out of the loop on joining team. Oh, well, I'll address this with him later, because living in Camarillo, I think I do need to get a hold of you. I'm going to try and get my friend Wayne. I need to get him back on this podcast. In fact, I'm going to do a bonus episode with him. Matthew Dave, that was a great story. In fact, it's so interesting because you sent me this email a while ago and I had it in my pile, didn't even make the connection of what you saw and what I think I saw come through my apartment. Holy cow. You know what else is the thing about this little thing that comes through the apartment? Sometimes it runs through so fast. And what I see in my mind is it almost looks like a cartoon. You know how sometimes Wile E. Coyote can't make the corner and its legs just keep moving in the same place? That's what I feel like. It runs through and then its feet just keep moving and then it doesn't stop. All right, Matthew, we're going to stay in touch. Okay, folks. Interesting. Now I'm excited. Now we got to get out of this Corona stuff so we can go up to Camarillo. I hope we don't get arrested. We'll tell you about that later after we do it. Me and Matthew and his wife and Wayne. Okay, so another from my friend Alicia. Hello, darling. I think I've been talking to you in the sober site for quite a bit now. So you sent me a very, very interesting question and thoughtful things about conspiracies, which I'm going to look into. But let's get to it, and I'll tell you what I think, because you had a couple of things I wanted to bring up. So I found you through Jessa and Sobers, and I love learning about the stages of life. Awesome. So I finally started listening to your podcast, and I loved learning about Flight 370, which is one of the early ones I did about missing Malaysian Flight 370 that went missing. Also, I did one about the Denver airport not too long ago. I live in Denver, so that Denver Airport podcast was very enlightening. I knew nothing about any of this, and I've been in the airport and didn't notice the things you mentioned. I always just heard that if the zombie apocalypse happened, that is where the important elite would be quarantined to. In fact, it's interesting because I was just in the Denver airport a couple of times. They've taken down 2 of the murals that I talked about, and they made one more change. Oh, now they're doing advertising making fun of the conspiracy. So you'll see a lot of that, any of you that go through the airport. While listening to these, I had a couple of thoughts on things I wish you would research and go over for us. Since I'm a huge conspiracy theorist, listening to you go into such detail and do research really feels good to my brain. Oh, thanks. Because it's not just made up and crazy. I believe if you can't prove it, then it's not true. Your CIA joke was hilarious. I'll go back and listen to my own podcast. Glad you enjoyed it. Anyways, here are 2 suggested conspiracies. So there 2 are my suggestions are 9/11, Newtown, Connecticut, and Hurricane Katrina. And she wrote a little something here. Many already have their beliefs about 9/11, but I have found that not many people know that Newtown, Connecticut was a setup, and so was Hurricane Katrina. Okay, and I'm going to break those down. And the Newtown, Connecticut one, well, I'll read it first and I'll tell you. The Newtown, Connecticut one, where is it? We'll get to that. Okay, I am from Louisiana, and when the hurricane happened, people, including my husband, heard the National Guard bombing the levees. When I tell people what happened, They are in shock and disbelief. They bombed the lower wards, and they did it before. That is very interesting, and I believe that one. I have heard that before. In fact, yes, and I hope I get to these, Alicia. I should with the quarantine, but it seems like I'm so busy doing readings and stuff. I thought I was going to have 10 episodes written out by then. They're talking about, a lot of people that talk about the 5G that I believe has something to do coronavirus. Not that it created it, but that I believe coronavirus is a very weak virus, that if we didn't have 5G, it wouldn't be like this easy to catch, and killing so many people, but that Wi-Fi is not giving our cells enough time to heal themselves. And it's very interesting about this conspiracy because there's another tape that somebody sent to me that is saying at night when everyone's in quarantine, that's when they're putting up the 5G towers, which I only saw that in one place, but it makes sense to me because now with 5G, those towers have to be way closer, like literally a block away or something like that. Go look at a map of the 5G towers in your area. See if you can find them. They're so close that I thought, that woman that was a nurse or somebody was talking about this, that might actually make sense. Get everybody in their house and put up the towers when they're there. This thing about the levees, I'm looking into it. 9/11 is another one that that's such a big conspiracy thing, but that movie, if anybody have seen that movie Loose Change, and then there was an updated one, they go through every conspiracy. And I have to tell you, if only 2 in like the 50 or 100 conspiracies they go through, if only 2 are correct, it still throws off the story that we know. So 9/11 is the big one. I want to see if I can get the guy from Loose Change on there. So the levees one, I am going to look into that. Okay. Now the one, I found evidence about the Connecticut, this is the Newtown, Connecticut shooting, and no one ever believes it because the quote-unquote media said, but the FBI website shows no deaths that year. Okay, so this would be the Sandy Hook didn't happen conspiracy, I think. But the FBI website shows no deaths that year in that town. Evidence provided below. And she did give me a good photo here of it saying that. Newtown, no deaths. New Milford, Newtown. Okay, got it. So I'm going to look into that and the link here to see. But also, Alicia, my friend Calvin Von Crush, I sent him a text, did not get back. He did not get back to me yet. He lives close to Newtown, and I believe he knew, I know that I'm going, too removed. He knew somebody whose kid died there, I believe. So I am reaching out to him. I'm going to find out what he says. In fact, I'll check this while we're on the phone. No, I haven't gotten back from him yet. Okay, so Newtown, I'm going to check out with Calvin. The levees, absolutely. And 911, I'll see if I can get one of those guys on from Loose Change. So thank you for those suggestions, everybody. So that is my very long bonus episode, 43 minutes that I thought was going to be 20. So everybody, thanks again for listening. I hope this bonus episode is interesting. As the other ones, haven't the guests been amazing? Diet and Derek, and now Sonia King is going to be on this Wednesday, and it's such a great episode with her. All right, everybody. Dark web, what is it? TOR. That's the program, the onion router. If there's any trouble, thank you for listening. Thank you for commenting and for these great stories and everything you send me. I really appreciate it. KarenRontowski.com. Take care, everybody. I'll see you soon. Actually, you'll hear me on Wednesday.